Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a heated exchange on Capitol Hill. Congresswoman Young Kim is calling out what she describes as left-wing corporate environmental policies that, in her words, put politics over profits and hurt everyday investors.
Welcome, witnesses. Thank you so much for being here. You know, in California, our drivers, custodians, local law enforcement, and other public employees rely upon the California Public Employees Retirement System to manage their pensions and ensure that they can have a comfortable retirement. Unfortunately, rather than being focused on securing the highest possible return for its members, CalPERS has been focused on left-wing politics and supporting changes to force companies to adopt these ESG initiatives. One way that we have seen companies forced away from focusing on their products and services is by burdening companies through the shareholder proposal process. I want to ask my question to Ms. Kill. What are the steps that a company takes when it receives a shareholder process or proposal?
Sure. So first it will decide whether it is actually substantially implemented already, whether it's considered it. It'll then go into whether investors have raised this as a particular issue that they actually care about. And then it'll assess what is the harm that could come from this, right? It's a risk mitigation analysis at the end of the day. So is it going to jeopardize legal privilege? Is it going to disclose some sensitive competitive information? Is it going to disclose sensitive employee information, which is what a lot of the reports would request? Is it legal? There are examples of shareholder proposals being put forth that would, if they were to be implemented, would actually be illegal. We've seen this in the insurance industry and with respect to diversity and equity and inclusion proposals. And then lastly, you have to evaluate whether it's actually going to harm the company, right? So then there are examples of proposals that are effectively trying to hurt a business. One example would be to a pharmaceutical company, asking them to stop issuing patents or do reduced patents. Another example would be asking an energy or oil and gas company to reduce Scope 3 emissions, since that would require them to reduce the sale of their actual products.
What about the costs that companies are burdened with when dealing with shareholder proposals that may not be relevant to the business activity?
So I think there are costs that the SEC has said it's, maybe upwards of $150,000. There have been other studies that put that at a top of, $600,000. But I think that that's actually, it's nice to have those dollars and cents, but it's really the intangible energy and effort that goes into these that is really hard to quantify. So that analysis that I went through, that's just a kind of drop in the bucket in terms of the focus.
Mr. Mueller, can you talk about if the investors are the ones that bear the burden of the costs and consequences of non-material shareholder proposals? Can you talk about that too?
Yes, they bear those expenses and typically vote down these proposals, particularly in recent years as the proposals have gotten more extreme, more prescriptive. The votes are dropping down, and large shareholders are coming to the company saying, "Why are we even having to deal with this?" And so they're not happy either.
Let me talk about another issue. Companies, they want to be focused on delivering great products or services and continuing to innovate. But when they spend thousands of hours attempting to deal with the shareholder proposal regarding whether they will go from plastic straws in their cafeteria to paper straws, that is vital time and resources that's taken away from improving the business and customer experience. And CalPERS should return to being focused on its stewardship of the retirement of my constituents and not supporting a left-wing political agenda. So another concern I have is with the duopoly in the proxy advisory market and ISS and Glass Lewis's lack of economic analysis. So in July of 2023, ISS testified that the firm does not generally conduct an economic analysis before providing a vote recommendation. And last year, Investment Stewardship Global Head of ISS stated that on that CNBC interview, that the firm leaves the investment thesis up to the investors. So I want to ask you a question, Mr. Mueller. Have you observed anything that would lead you to believe that ISS or Glass Lewis evaluates the specifics of each shareholder proposal at each company?
No, there's nothing in their voting recommendations report suggesting that they're evaluating other than intangible speculative risks.
Okay. You know, when economic analysis is not the guiding principle of shareholder proposals, then it leaves one to question whether the guiding principle is, what the guiding principle is. So,
The gentlelady's
unfortunately,
time has expired.
Oh, can I just finish my sentence?
Go ahead.
The takeaway that I'm left with is that personal and political bias are what guide the recommendations of Glass Lewis and ISS. So it is also concerning to me that IS and Glass Lewis appear to have a significant conflict of interest. And I just wanted to share that and put it on the record, the concerns that I have.
Gentlelady yields. The gentleman from New York.
Debate goes straight to the heart of how public pensions, shareholder proposals, and ESG initiatives are shaping corporate America. Young Kim began her remarks by pointing to CalPERS, the California Public Employees Retirement System. She argued that instead of focusing on securing the best returns for public workers' pensions, CalPERS is aligning itself with a political agenda, pushing companies to adopt environmental, social, and governance policies. According to Kim, these policies distract companies from their core mission, delivering quality products and services. A major point raised in the hearing was how shareholder proposals can weigh down businesses. Companies must review, evaluate, and respond to these proposals, even when they are irrelevant or potentially harmful. Kim cited examples ranging from pharmaceutical companies being pressured to scale back patents to energy companies being pushed to cut emissions in ways that could undermine their business. Witnesses testified that the cost of addressing these proposals can run from $150,000 to $600,000, not including the lost time and focus. The question Kim pressed was clear: who ultimately pays for these distractions? Witnesses confirmed that it's the investors, ordinary people saving for retirement, who shoulder the costs. They noted that more extreme and prescriptive proposals are often voted down by shareholders, leaving many to question why companies are even forced to engage with them in the first place. This tension highlights a growing divide between political activism in boardrooms and the financial priorities of shareholders. Another issue Kim raised was the outsized influence of proxy advisory firms like ISS and Glass Lewis. These firms guide investors on how to vote on proposals, but, according to testimony, often fail to conduct serious economic analysis. Instead, their recommendations appear to rest on speculative risks, and Kim argued political bias. This raises concerns about conflicts of interest and whether shareholder democracy is being steered by unelected, unaccountable actors. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, don't forget to click the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the debates shaping business, policy, and your financial future. At the core of Young Kim's criticism is the belief that corporate governance should prioritize growth, innovation, and returns for investors, not serve as a vehicle for partisan agendas. She warned that time wasted on symbolic battles, such as cafeteria straw policies, takes attention away from creating value for consumers and shareholders. For Kim, the mission of public funds and corporate boards should be clear: protect retirement security and focus on economic performance. Young Kim's remarks reflect a broader debate in America over the role of ESG and corporate responsibility. Are these initiatives necessary to address long-term risks, or are they a distraction that imposes costs on investors and businesses? That's the question lawmakers, companies, and shareholders are wrestling with today. What's clear is that the battle over corporate environmental policies isn't going away anytime soon. Thank you for watching. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think shareholder proposals are holding companies back, or are they a tool for accountability? Until next time, stay informed and stay engaged.